Good morning everybody, it's Brett here, Lionheart 84. It's Sunday the 15th of March, so we're early in spring now, and I noticed that some of the buds are swelling on some of the persimmons that I've got in the garden, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to come round and just take off any growth that's particularly weak or looks dead or pointing in the wrong directions. I mean, they don't really need much pruning at these sizes, except just to keep on top of any potential damage. And of course, once they start growing, you can normally see what's definitely dead. This particular one here, this is a chocolatino, and I'm just going to trim off a couple of branches. I'm going to take this branch off here just to encourage that one to carry on growing out. I think this little bit here is dead on here, so I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Yeah, not green inside. There's not really much needs doing on them at this size. The only thing I'm tempted to do is take off a couple of very thin spindly branches like this one. And in the case of, you've got two very close together here, I'm going to take that one off. Get more of an angle on that. At the moment I'm going to leave everything else on that plant. You can of course trim these back more if you find growth that's obviously dead once it starts into growth. Really it's just about tidying up any dead growth or branches that look a little bit too close to each other. Looking at this one here, this is a Rojo Brillant. I've noticed there's 3 branches on here, and I think it only needs 2, so I'm going to take that one off. Should be fine to trim them now. Now there are several branches here growing quite close together, so I think this one can be removed completely. I think it had some dieback on it anyway. Okay, this looks okay. I might take this one off here, I think, because although this one's going towards the centre of the tree a little bit, it looks much healthier. Because I'd like to try and get some flowers on these and potentially fruit this year. So I'm just taking anything off that looks completely out of place or dead. I've got some obvious dieback, I would say, on this small one. This one here was meant to be a proc, but obviously turned out to be a lotus. I suspect some of these little twiggy bits, this is definitely alive, these twiggy bits look a bit dead, but I'm not going to take them off at the moment because the plants are really young. All of these small ones, it's too early to tell if this growth is alive or dead here, so I'm going to leave that completely. This one here is a Fuyu. Again, there's no need to prune any of that growth off there because the plant's too small to have to worry about it. Now again, this is a large one here. This is my Giro, which had my first flowers last year. I'm just looking round it. There's a very awkward branch here. This one here is growing across the other one. So I'm going to take that off to allow that branch to come out. Not too worried about the other branches on it, to be honest. There's nothing here that really needs much tackling. As I say, I'm not pruning for length or shape too much at the moment because it's early days. I suspect that this one might come out. This one here might come out later. But I'm not going to worry today because I like to try and encourage some new branches. You can always reshape them later once the branches have got going, and then if you see some here, I mean this one here is coming across, this one here behind here is coming across really, so that probably could come out, but as it's only a young tree I don't think there's any need at the moment. None of these others need anything doing to them. As you can see, there's lots of nice new buds breaking out here. one's Sahanafuyu. Oh, the wind's coming up. It's really just about taking off obviously dead or damaged growth at the moment, because these are still all young plants. All the smaller persimmons I'm not worried about, but I've got about 3 or 4 plants I'm hoping are going to be big enough this year to actually potentially flower and maybe produce 2 or 3 fruits for me. I'd like to get half a dozen fruits this year. That's the whole idea of growing them in containers. Anyway, that's the trimming done for now. It's not a full pruning guide, excuse me, just a light trim. I think I've got some dead growth actually. Looking at this here, definitely got some dieback on this branch, so that might as well come off. In fact, I'm going to take it back to this outward facing bud here. Yeah, got an outward facing bud, so that's all they need for the time being. Obviously I'll know a little bit later, in about a month's time, what sort of buds are coming out, and then if there's some obviously dead growth at that time, I'll take it out, I'll cut it out at that moment. Anyway, that's my short persimmon pruning video. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's Brett out for now. Please do share the video if you think anyone's interested. You're welcome to like the video or give it a thumbs down. I won't be offended. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And obviously if you'd like to see how these plants get on in the summer, hit the bell and you'll be notified about future videos. Thanks for watching. Catch up with you in the next video.